You are listening to Show Up Arizona across the great state of Arizona on iHeart Radio. My name is Billy Harfosh. We've been covering it. You've heard me vent. You've heard all my complaints and my negativity. And here we go again, because this real estate market is hot, hot, hot. And I want to buy. I just can't get in the market. Listen to this. Home prices in Arizona are at record highs right now, and they continue to rise. Today, there are roughly 4,000 homes for sale in the greater Phoenix metro area, compared to almost 11,000 this time last year and 20,000 2 years ago. Think about states like Washington, Illinois, Colorado. What's that other one? California. Exactly. California. We've all been seeing those license plates. Welcome to the program, Mr. Trevor Halpern. Trevor is the founder of Halpern Residential at North & Co. And look, I've done my research, Trevor. I know you're one of the best in the business. Thank you so much for joining us on iHeart Radio. Help me out today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. And you're right. I mean, supply and demand is really the issue at hand, and it's creating difficulties for buyers. It's creating barriers to entry. It's creating issues throughout the marketplace. That is for sure.
Well, Trevor, we're going to get into the details. We're going to do some inside baseball, get into the weeds here in a moment. But simply, let's just start out simple. When you talk about supply and demand, is that really what this is? In other words, there's just not enough supply on the market at this moment. And what factors have caused that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that really is what we're seeing as practitioners. We're seeing the demand index, and it's a trackable index that you can look at. We're seeing demand at all-time high. We're seeing, lately it's slipped a little bit, and mostly that's probably because of the frustrations that you're experiencing yourself. Buyers are out there feeling frustration, and so some of them are giving up and leaving the market, but not in large enough numbers to substantially alter the dynamic of the marketplace. And so when we talk about supply and supply being light, you can really look at a number of factors. I mean, starting with the housing crisis, a decade ago, home builders just simply haven't been building enough homes to sustain the growth of our population. And so there just simply aren't enough homes out there for the demand in our marketplace. And with people moving, as you said, from California and from neighboring states and from other areas, there's just not enough for our growing population. And so that's creating strain. It's creating a price increase, and it's creating an inventory situation that is really indicative of what we're seeing in this marketplace.
Well, speaking right now to Trevor Halpern. Trevor is one of the experts in the real estate industry. He's with Halpern Residential, the founder, and of course North & Co. We love those great folks over there as well. Trevor, so help me out here. Just walk me through this. I feel like I'm in a casino where I'm playing the lottery, and quite frankly, I'm not making jokes, because this is people's lives, right? I mean, there's families right now that I know of that are living in an Airbnb or a hotel because they sold their home somewhere else. The plan was to move to Arizona, and now they can't find a home. So walk me through this. Right now, I'm in the market for a condo, probably a condo I rent right now in Scottsdale. I want to get out of the renter's market, and I want to buy. I want an asset. I want some equity. I want to invest. And you go to these open houses. By the time you get home, I'm not exaggerating, Trevor, in my price range, there's 15, 20 offers, and I would say 80% of those offers are over listing price. What is happening here? How do I play this game? In other words, if the condo is $300,000, I know I got to offer over that. I got to bid over that. But is it just a huge guessing game? Is there anything agents can do to help out their clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are a number of things that we can do as agents to try to position our buyer clients to win in competitive marketplaces. And quite frankly, that's how we're making a living right now. And so, the things that you can do, I mean, oftentimes, you're looking at condos, the price range that you're in, it may be competitive with people in there offering cash. The way that you compete against cash as a buyer is to try to reduce the risk for the seller. And there are a number of ways that you can do that. And so as we look at each situation for each buyer that comes up, we try to work through the competitive nature of the market. And there are a number of things. One of them is speed to lead. When you are active in the marketplace, if you see something, to your point, it's going to go very quickly. And so you have to act very quickly. Not we can go on Tuesday. It's you see it active this morning, you're there later that morning, or in the afternoon to try to capitalize on it. And I tell you, that speed to lead game, there are some little cracks in it. Every once in a while, you can sneak in there with timing, whereas maybe the home fell out of escrow and you have an opportunity before it hits back out on the market. That's what we're doing for our clients. Every offer we submit, if we don't get it, we're following up with that listing agent to see if it's going to fall apart, because roughly a third of escrows are falling out of escrow during the process. People may overshoot and decide, hey, once they get under contract, wow, I shouldn't have offered that much. I've got cold feet. I want to walk. So there are opportunities to get in there and create little cracks that you can exploit. And there's also a handful of other things that we can go through and talk about to give our buyers advantages.
Speaking of Trevor Halpern right now, Trevor, agents have told me that their clients are submitting like videos like, hey, this is Sarah, this is Betty, this is Johnny, these are my 3 kids, this is my husband, John. We really love the backyard and the pool. We can see ourselves in this home. I mean, people are doing crazy things to try to influence the sellers in order to choose them. Walk me through this. If I'm not a cash guy and I do need a mortgage and I need a loan, I assume you're recommending pre-approval because you talked about time sensitivity. Should buyers be getting approved for more than what they're trying to buy for? Do we just want the biggest loan possible at this point because that's the only way we can jump in this market? How does that all work out, the pre-approval process?
The pre-approval process is really your key to entry into the market. Because things are moving very quickly, you want to position yourself financially so you know exactly what you can afford. Your lender has stuck their nose under the proverbial tent. They've examined you from a financial standpoint so that you can provide that strength to your agent to go forward and exude that strength in your offer. So getting pre-approved is the first step and is critically important. And also getting pre-approved get pre-approved for the biggest number you can. That doesn't mean you need to spend it. All the time we have clients look at their pre-approval number and determine whether that mortgage amount per month is reasonable to them or not. And if not, we back it down. But knowing that you have room to go on your pre-approval in this market it provides you with an extraordinary amount of strength. And so, for instance, if you get in a situation where, let's say you're looking at $400,000 homes, which is just below our average price, which is in this marketplace about $475,000. So let's say you're in the market to look.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there? Did you say the average price is $475,000?
You got $474,000 was the last I looked at.
Isn't that bananas in itself? Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I mean, that's $500,000. I mean, we're talking about $500,000. Now, I'm from Central New York, Syracuse, New York originally, where we don't have these crazy ups and crazy downs. For $500,000, it's a borderline mansion. Is this just over the last year since the pandemic, this has spiked up?
You got it. 20% increase market-wide, increase in values across the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. And statewide, when you look at pockets, it's very similar. And so, Phoenix and Arizona generally are perceived as, one, undervalued when compared to large metro areas, and two, the lifestyle and what people got to see during the pandemic was us sitting in our backyards on Zoom calls with birds chirping, dipping our toes in pools while they were sitting there in snow and lockdown. And
right.
So we increased our desirability, especially regionally, with people wanting to move here. The other thing that really created an uptick that we found during the lockdown period was the fact that there was a lot of what we're calling internal churn, people having to stay in their homes and looking around and saying, I hate this place.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me.
Right.
I need a den or I need an office. Where are the kids going to school? All of that stuff. So we saw a tremendous amount of, let's not call it lateral move, but what we like to call curating lifestyle, saying, hey, this is going to serve us better. We need to move to a house that has one extra bedroom so that we can have an office, et cetera, et cetera. So we saw a lot of internal and a lot of regional churn where people were just kind of perfecting their lifestyle during this time period.
Speaking of Trevor Halpern right now, he's trying to make sense of this whole real estate market to me. I'm confused, and you could probably hear in my voice I'm a little frustrated. That's part of the reason I wanted to do this interview, Trevor, selfishly, because I'm trying to figure out what the heck is happening here. Trevor's the founder of Halpern Residential. I'm going to give out the website right now. Go check it out. He's making a lot of sense today. It's halpernresidential.com. HALPERN residential.com. Go check out Trevor and his team over there. They do a great job. All right, Trevor, break it down for me. I know you're not in the prediction business. I'm sure you get this question all the time when you're out having cocktails, having dinner. It's crazy, right? Is this market sustainable? I mean, you're talking about $474 for an average price, for a median price. Is this sustainable? And what if I say to you, Trevor, I don't need your services right now because I'm not stupid. I'm not going to buy at the top. I'm waiting for the dip. I'm waiting for the crash. Are we going to see a dip? Are we going to see a crash? Or are you going to be looking at me 2 years from now like, hey, Billy, you're an idiot. You had a chance to buy in 2021 and the prices have gone up even more. Help me.
I think, quite frankly, based on what we're seeing from the sophisticated commentators in our marketplace and from what we're seeing in our own kind of bubble of expertise, lenders, economists, very active real estate agents and brokers, the tea leaves are showing that this thing is going to continue to increase. The Cromford report, which is the holy grail of analytics for residential real estate agents in the Phoenix metro area, is a data analytics service run by a mathematician, and he has been doing this for decades. And he's predicting, Michael Orr of the Cromford report is predicting another 40% or so in the next year. So we are expecting, well, let me correct that, another about 20, we went from a 20% increase, and we're going to see about another 20% in the next 6, 8, 10 months is his prediction. So we could really continue to see a intermediate term increase in housing prices in the Phoenix metro area and in Arizona in general because of the supply and demand issues. So I do think trying to wait it out, the conversations that I'm having with my clients, with our buyer clients and our seller clients, is this: what serves you right now? What serves you and your loved ones, your family, whoever you live with? Does it serve you to stay in place and hope that you time the market exquisitely, which is very difficult to do? Hedge funds don't do it. People aren't predicting big, analytic services that read this stuff have never been able to time this stuff right. So my thing is, if your outlook is long enough, if you're going to be in the home for long enough, you're going to be able to outweigh whatever happens in the market, outlast whatever happens in the market. And so what serves you and your loved ones best? Is it moving? If it's moving, go move and live in your home just like Grandpa did. Buy it, live in it, know that prices are going to go up or down, but know that real estate will never be worth zero. It's never been worth zero. So if it serves you, if it serves your loved ones, I still think get out and buy. And I just don't know when this thing is going to bottom out, when it's going to plateau. But the smart money is saying that maybe 2 years, 3 years from now, we might see a plateau. But for now, we're going to continue to see an increase as scarcity is driving the marketplace and as more people are coming here from out of state and still perceiving Phoenix as a nice little value. We're still going to see these prices go up.
Speaking of Trevor Halpern right now, we're trying to make sense of the real estate market. Okay, let me know what you think. Buy, sell, hold. What are we doing here? Hit me up right now on Instagram, Facebook, at Billy Harfosh. Show up Arizona with Billy Harfosh on Facebook. Definitely DM me right now. Instagram, are you selling a home? Are you buying a home? What do you think of this crazy market? I want your predictions. We'll talk about that next week on the air. All right, Trevor, one more scenario, and then I want to go to the other side of the coin. I want to talk about people that are trying to sell their home right now. Let me just give you this scenario real quick. If I own a home in a neighborhood and I bought it, let's say 3 years ago for $400,000. Let's just do easy numbers here. $400,000, and I see two of my neighbors in the same street. They've sold their homes for $550,000. We're just throwing crazy numbers here. They've sold their homes for $550,000, and I say, my goodness, I have the same exact floor plan. I could sell my home for $550,000. Do the math, Trevor. Help me out. $150,000 in the bank. Problem is, Trevor, now where do I go? Can I get back in the market for $400,000 or $500,000 and have a similar lifestyle? What do you say to those people that see their neighbors selling their homes for crazy prices and they're just thinking, well, I want to put some cash in the bank? What do they do then? How do they get back in the market? Am I making sense here, Trevor?
Yeah, absolutely. No, these are scenarios that we run with clients on an individual basis all day. And, it really does come back to what serves you. What serves your family? Will $150,000 in your pocket serve your situation right now more than having certainty on where you lay your head? And if the answer to that is, yeah, I want to take that money. I have other things that I want to do. I don't mind, renting. I don't mind being the uncertainty. The certainty of the $150,000 in my pocket outweighs the uncertainty on the other side. Okay, let's go. Let's roll the dice and let's figure it out. However, the rental market is the only market that's tighter than the resale market. To try to get a decent rental at a decent rental rate in this town and in Arizona is very difficult. And so whenever this scenario gets brought up, the first thing we examine is the other side. Where are you going, and what does that look like? And is it feasible? Is it reasonable? You're going to take $150,000 and do what with it? Are you going to roll it into a down payment on your next place? Are you going to roll it into investments? Are you going to roll it into whatever else you want to roll it into? What does it look like on the back end? Let's paint that picture, and from there we can decide whether or not the time is right for you to sell your home. But you have to know where you're going on the back end and what that looks like. If you just throw an arrow blindly into the ether and hope that you're going to land in a rental or a home, once you create your liquidity event with your sale, you're doing it wrong. Absolutely look at where you're going first and what that looks like and whether that is palatable to you. And if it is, now we can start reverse engineering and get back to where you are now in your place and figure out the best way to list it, to sell it, and to execute and get you into the next place.
Well, that makes sense, Trevor. I mean, it matters where you are in your life. Are you going into retirement? Are you retired? Are you working? Are you willing to sacrifice? Like you said, are you willing to maybe move a little further outside the city or in a less desirable area and rent and wait a couple of years and then get back in the market? Everybody's in different situations. Check out what Trevor's got going on, halpernresidential.com. All right, last two for you. What are some things sellers shouldn't be doing? Because obviously sellers are doing pretty well right now. I guess you would call this a seller's market, right, Trevor? But what are some potholes, if I may, some problems that we could run into here if we're selling a home?
Yeah, and most sellers think that, okay, hey, this is a seller's market. Indeed, you're on it. It is a seller's market. And most sellers say, hey, I just put a sign in the yard and we're going to have buyers chomping at each other's ankles to get in here. We're going to be just fine. That there's some truth to that. You can put a sign in your yard and you can rock and roll and your place will sell. But the pitfalls involved with that are, if you put a sign in the ground before you know where you're going, you're already failing. If you don't know, again, what it looks like on the back end, where are we going? Do we have a consolidated plan? Are we ready to execute that plan? Then you are going to be scrambling because your home will get under contract quickly unless you really miss the price. And so, one, know where you're going. Another pitfall that we're seeing with folks is they prolong the listing period. There's this pre-market, this coming soon status that folks are utilizing, thinking that they're stacking up buyers. Hey, we're going to go coming soon for a week, and we're really going to tease the marketplace, and then we're going to list it, and we're not going to look at offers for another week. Well, that's 2 weeks. And in this marketplace, Billy, if you've been out there looking at condos, you know that you're not going to look at one condo and say, hey, I'm going to wait for you for 2 weeks, because if you do and then you submit an offer, you're competing against 15 other people and you're probably going to lose. You will get one, but you're going to lose multiple times before you win. So what we're finding is if we prolong our listing period, we're actually seeing buyer attrition. They're on to the next. They don't want to play the game. They're going to go where it's actionable right now. So don't play pre-market games. Don't prolong your listing. Set a very concise timeline. And we're finding that serves both our buyer and seller. If we say, hey, we're listing it on our Monday or Tuesday, you can see it on Wednesday between this time, and then offers are due on Thursday, and we're going to get back to you on Friday. Buyers look at that and go, cool, I know in 36 hours whether I'm getting this place or not. So I'm going to put my best effort in on this place. I'm going to hyper-focus. We're going to come correct on this offer, and we're going to really try to nail it. And guess what? In 36 hours, if I don't get it, now I can refocus on something else. So we drive competition in a compressed amount of time to try to get multiple offers and compete those offers against each other in a very consolidated amount of time, not dragging heels, not prolonging it, because you end up with a bunch of seepage out the back door.
Well, I'll tell you, that's some good advice for life in general, not just the real estate market here in Arizona. Last one, Trevor Halpern. Help me out here. So what are the hot markets right now? What are the hot areas? What are those high-ticket items, high-ticket homes? Where are those? What area codes? What neighborhoods? And do you have one area, I'm going to put you on the spot, one area, one town, one neighborhood that is maybe up and coming, a place where maybe someone doesn't have have all the cash to get into a Paradise Valley, but there's an up-and-coming area that I project in 5 or 10 years could really, really serve you, and you'll get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say of the top 5 kind of real active neighborhoods in the core of the valley, I think one that has a tremendous amount of upside is what we refer to as the 32nd Street corridor. So if you shoot up the 51 and you get to the 32nd Street exit, kind of between there and Shea, you draw a bubble around that. What you see is those homes are sandwiched between, let's call it, North Central Phoenix and Moon Valley and Paradise Valley and the Paradise Valley Mall, and we see it undervalued compared to the surrounding neighborhoods. And there's only one way for the directionality to squeeze, and that's right into that neighborhood. So I think that's going to be a really good up and coming neighborhood. We listed that one as number 5 of the highest appreciating neighborhoods in town, and I think that's going to be one to keep an eye on in the next year or two.
And what's the most expensive neighborhood out there right now? I mean, where are these $1 million+ homes being bought and sold that I see all over Zillow?
Yeah, you see a lot of these, the really uber extravagant homes are up in Silverleaf and some of these private and exclusive places. But as far as, price per square foot and appreciation and kind of in the middle, the heart of town, you're right into Arcadia. If you go right into the heart of Arcadia, it's still a highly, highly desirable neighborhood. You get big lots, big homes, and you also get big expense. But we've also seen a big-time increase in appreciation. In Arcadia, for instance, last year, 19.3% appreciation, coupled with 8.5% turnover rate, meaning 8.5% of the homes changed hands during that time period, which is higher than what we're seeing in other areas in the central part of town.
Wow, Trevor Halpern coming with the fire. A lot of knowledge today. He's the founder of Halpern Residential. You can check him out, halpernresidential.com. Hit me up on Instagram right now. Let me know, at Billy Harfosh. Are you buying? Are you selling? Are you just waiting this market out? Look, I'm a little frustrated. You heard me, Trevor, but for a guy like you, it's probably good for business, and let's be honest, there's no one that loves this state more than me, and it's good for our state. I know we joke around about all the people, don't California, my Arizona, and all these different license plates and things, but you know what? It's progress, and we need progress right now in our country and in our communities, so it's all good stuff. Trevor, thank you so much for being on the show. I hope to have you on again and get an update about the real estate market. I appreciate your talents and expertise, and I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
Thank you very much, Billy. Appreciate coming on.